Hello and welcome to the Piano Man's Library. Today I am going to give you my June reading wrap up, and at the time of the recording here, it is still another week left in June, and um, we're going to be returning some public library books tomorrow, and so I figured it was just easier to do it a little bit early, and I'll have a couple books carried over into July, but that's okay. The first book that I have is Catch 22. I like war stories, I like history, and I like fiction, and this one is satire. Satire and I don't get along very often, and in this case, it didn't. It didn't. Um, it had some very good points. It did. Um, but first, what is Catch 22? So, a quote from the book. Catch 22 is a situation in which a desired outcome or solution is impossible to attain because of a set of inherently illogical rules and conditions. And then it goes on later in the book to say anyone who wants to go out of combat, anyone who wants to get out of combat duty isn't really crazy. And I have to say, a number of times reading this, I couldn't help thinking of MASH, the show, and all the things that, oh my goodness, now I can't think of what his name was. If you remember that gentleman's name from MASH, that was really, really trying to get out of duty, put it down below because I can't seem to remember. Um, I'm sure you know who I'm talking about, though. Anyway, he kept popping into my head through a lot of this. Um, yes, but there was a lot of really good points that it made. It brought out. Um, it brought out that war's a racket. If you get the chance, there's a book. It's called "War is a Racket." It was written by a general from World War II, I believe. And if I can find a picture of it, I'll put it up here. And if not, just Google it. Um, it was very good, bringing out. War makes people a lot of money. Some people. And yeah, he had a lot of very good points in there. But anyway, those things were brought up in here. Um, it had a lot of womanizing in here, ladder climbing, fear, insanity, and propaganda. Um, yeah, all of the things. Um, but just the way that it was told, and it was a lot of cussing, a lot. And I can put up with a fair amount, but there was a lot. Um, and quite vulgar in parts and stuff too. Yeah, I'm glad I read it, but I definitely will not be reading it again. So that was one book. Okay, one of the ones from the library that will be returned tomorrow was The Imagination Muscle. and that's by Albert Reed. And I really liked this book. I didn't get very far into it because I realized very soon that I want a copy that I can write all over because there's some really good things in here that I want to mark up. So this one will go safely back to the library, even though it's majorly dog-eared. I don't know if you can see that. There is a lot of dog-eared pages from a previous reader um, in this book, but it will go back to the library as is. Yes, I can't wait to actually get a copy and read that. That's good. Another one that I picked up at the library, which I didn't even touch, Jenny by Sigrid Undset. I needed a book for a one-word title, so this one worked for that, but also Beloved. And because I had been DNFing books like crazy for a while, um, I wanted a couple of options. Which brings me to Beloved by Toni Morrison. And this book, I didn't, there were things that I didn't like, and there were things that I really liked. I enjoyed, I thought it was done really well, the past and present, um, going back and forth on the history of this main character. And everything that she had been through and the people that she was with at the, I think it was a farm that she was on, maybe, I'm not sure. Anyway, maybe just a smaller plantation. But anyhow, yeah, the people, the closeness of the slaves that were there, and how everybody kind of found her afterward, a bunch of the people. And yeah, so I thought all that was really good. Um, and I didn't like the ghosts and such from in the house. I think call an exorcist, please, if there's someone in your house or a spirit, please. Um, they are not your relative. Anyway, that's a whole new another video. But yeah, so I didn't appreciate that, and so a lot of the book I didn't. There was quite a few parts that I just didn't like, and I was pretty sure for a long time I would be giving this a very low star rating because, yeah, of all of that. But towards the end of the book, it the writing really started coming through for me. Um, and I appreciated all of the things that the author did in this book, and style wise. And um, I noticed, that for the characters, some of them, they didn't have a different dialect per se, but some of the words were spelled differently for certain characters, and I really appreciated that. There's some stream of conscious type writing in here in certain parts. Um, yeah, she just really she really impressed me. And so I didn't give this 5 stars. I think I gave it 4 in the end. Um, but it was because her writing really did impress me in the end. So that will be going back to the library. One that I read right after that is The Lost Bookshelf. This one I had been wanting to read. And when I picked up this and the next 2 books that she wrote, that's Evie Woods, um, I was so excited. I mean, look at this cover. It's beautiful. And then I'm looking on the back. Um, I even read the back and I was excited. Um, this book, in contrast to this one also had elements that I did not like. It wasn't a ghost or a poltergeist or whatever this one was supposed to be. Um, but the character development, um, it had so much potential, but it was quite flat. Um, they had there was of course cussing in here on characters. I mean, when you're writing, you should know what kind of characters you're writing. Like, does it make sense for them to cuss? Um, most of the characters in this book, it didn't add anything to the characters for them to be cussing. Yeah, out of this book, I would say one person in this book, it would have made sense for that character to be cussing. Otherwise, it's just lousy writing, in my opinion. Let me know if you disagree. Um, but I mean, this is supposed to be about um, um, building your imagination. It's kind of a fantasy. I believe on Goodreads it is described as a fantasy. I don't think it actually says that on this book, but it's yeah, the writing, um, and she didn't have a lot of imagination with a number of things. They were easily foreseen. Um, I really get into books. I really get into all of my books. Um, Fiction and nonfiction. I mean, that Truman book, Truman was stuck in my head. Um, but yeah, it was it was very disappointing, and the writing was not exceptional at all. Um, it- yeah, I was very disappointed, and I think I give this 2 stars, and that was just because the whole premise of the book, it could have gone, it could have been 5 stars, easy, if she'd have just tweaked it or had an editor that would say, hey, just do this and this. Yes. So this one, as well as the next 2, I'm not even going to bother picking these ones up. Um, they're going to go. Um, we have a lot of books in our home library, and we'd rather have good books. So those can go. So those are all the books that I completed. Um, and yeah, so those are those ones that I finished. Now I'm still working on Martin Chuzzlewit. For some reason, I'm just not getting into this one as quickly as the other Charles Dickens books, and that makes me sad. I hope I can get into this one. So I will continue on. I am still on Anna Karenina. It's finally starting to look up a little bit for me. And I'm two-thirds of the way through. And I'm still working on A Tale of Genji, which I will be working on probably the rest of the summer. It is starting to pick up a little bit too. So those are the books I am currently reading, and I'll be adding a few more for July. Jane Austen July. Actually, only one for Jane Austen July, and then a couple more for Big Book Summer. So, actually, out of all of those, the big books, besides 3, this one was a big book. It's just over 400 pages. It also met one of the prompts for my bingo, which was taking place in where an ancestor comes from. So, Ireland. This one here is not a big book, but it did meet one of the prompts for a one-word title. And Catch-22 was also from the bingo for a number in the title, and it is also a big book. So that's what I've been reading. I hope that I have better luck, more impressive books in the next month. It was a little bit of a downer, I have to admit. But I'm glad I read them, even if I didn't like them. And I look forward to talking to you again soon. Let me know if you've read any of these books, what you think, if you think my criticisms in, either of these are reasonable, or if you disagree, let me know. I'm excited to hear. I'll talk to you again soon. Goodbye.